Well, hey there, Leslie here. I wanted to talk today about working for someone. It doesn't matter what workplace it is. It could be, and we're going to talk about the legal field. It could be a corporate legal department, a nonprofit. It could be an insurance company. It could be a private law firm. But regardless, one of the single most important things you can do is interview properly and interview the potential employer. Number one, you never accept a job unless you have met and gotten to know the person that you're going to be working with. However, just as when we go on interviews, we put on our game face, we put on our, best conservative clothes and our best behavior, right? The attorneys do the same thing. And you won't know who that person really is unless you begin to ask questions, and you must ask questions. And I don't mean simple questions about benefits and that type of thing. You're not going to see, number one, the character of the person unless you ask 5 or 6 questions regarding the work that they do, okay? And other things, all right, that pertain to the work. Then you'll start to see, do they have their act together? Does the firm as a whole, whatever company this is, firm or corporation, whatever it is, government agency, courthouse, it could be any of the above. But do they have their act together? And is it a place that you will get up and want to go to every day? I mean, not every day we feel like that, but almost every day will you feel like, yeah, I'm enjoying my work. That's what you want. You want that enjoyment of your work and the people that you work with. Now, I know, and you know, having worked in other places, that won't be 100%. But let's talk about a scenario, okay? That is absolutely a true scenario. And while I read this online, I've experienced it personally. So a paralegal took a job, first job, for a long-time attorney employee. He was an employee of the firm. I don't know that he was a partner, but let's say that he was, or she was, a thorn in the side of the people that ran that law firm. And what they decided to do is wash their hands of dealing with this person. They were not going to let this attorney go, and they were not going to take the responsibility on themselves to manage the attorney. So it fell on this particular paralegal to do that, to keep that person in line. For the law firm as a whole, this attorney was a major headache. And so this is a true story, reading it online, and this person wondering what to do. And here's what was going on. The attorney would have the paralegal draft a motion up. Then with most courts, you have to, when you file that, you have to set a hearing date, because you're asking the court to do something. So there has to be a hearing where attorneys from both sides go to that hearing, and then they kind of duke it out. And they try to get, the person who filed that motion wants to get, that an order put out by the judge so that it says exactly what that attorney wanted, But the paralegal had no problem drafting the motion, none of that, and knowing what to do with it and knowing how to set up the hearing. The problem was getting the attorney to the hearing. The attorney would want all of these reminders. Now, I did that as a matter of course. I would remind my attorney. That's part of the paralegal's job. Like the night before, you're going to that hearing, right? And when if they're in the office in the morning, then you're reminding them about it, okay? It's just the nature of our job. However, this attorney required a tremendous amount of babysitting, and that is not what you want. And the dark side to this is that a hearing was missed, and the paralegal was blamed for not doing her job, and said she would be fired if she did this one more time. It wasn't her doing it, it was the attorney. Okay, so if that's making you feel overwhelmed and afraid, it should. And then he missed another hearing. She did not get fired, but again, it's probably 3 strikes, you're out type of thing. The problem with this way of management is that it's extremely inequitable, unfair. All of this should go back on the attorney, and they should have gotten rid of that attorney a long time ago, because frankly, that particular attorney doesn't want to be one and doesn't like what he or she does. So that's the sad part, is that this person's in a career they don't like, but it should never fall on top of the paralegal to that degree, where it is in essence babysitting. As legal secretaries, legal assistants, paralegals, we do this day in, day out as far as reminders. 2 weeks out from doing a legal brief or a complaint, we're reminding the attorney, you have that coming up. And any attorney worth his or her salt is going to sit down with you and go over the cases so that you are right on top of everything as a paralegal, and so is he or she. So what is the answer to this? Well, the best that you can do is understand what you're getting into in the interview. You have to ask questions of the attorney. And one of the simple questions can be, do you hold regular case status meetings where we go over cases? Is that what you do as a matter of course? So that's one question you can ask. Write that down. Okay? Those are the types of questions you want to pose to an attorney in an interview. Okay? In no way, after reading what I read that this paralegal wrote and what she's going through, in no way would I stay in that position. I would start looking, I would land a job, and then adios, 2 weeks notice. Or if they wanted me to leave, I've given 2 weeks notice, and then they were able to hire somebody within a week. And the new law firm I was going with said, if they ask you to leave beforehand or they hire somebody, just let me know because you can come on now. I said, okay. And that did happen at least once. So you should never stay in a job where you are being asked to manage this attorney in that degree. Our regular duties are reminding. But when it comes down to you are to blame because of their error, and that's what that is management is not willing to deal with that attorney and fire that attorney for negligence. And eventually that attorney is going to write his own disbarment ticket, or at least be suspended because of poor behavior. And is it always the paralegal's fault if hearings are missed? Well, if you haven't reminded the attorney, and you have, and let's say you have, and then they overslept, or they just decided they forgot about it. Something bigger is happening with that attorney. It could be major depression. I mean, it could be anything. It could be just pure dislike of the career they're in and they can't stomach it anymore. That happens to a lot of people, but that can't fall on you to solve it. Yes, you will have to remind, okay, don't get me wrong. But when the blame comes on you because the attorney is consistently refusing to wear his or her big boy or big girl pants, it is not your fault. And so it is time to move on. And there's nothing wrong with that. I moved on plenty of times because of some of those reasons, or that in another area, a topic of not getting a raise that I deserved, not getting a raise and someone else got a bigger raise who did far less work. So those are reasons why I left. But this would be a big reason for me to leave. That attorney, if they're not going to fire that attorney, they're going to keep dealing with this, and they're going to have a high turnover rate of paralegals, because I've been in this position. And while it may seem like somebody has the magic touch, nobody has the magic touch with somebody who doesn't like the career they're in. So don't think that you will be able to solve this, not if that's been their MO, their way of operating, okay? So don't be afraid now to go into the paralegal career, but you have to take the responsibility to interview properly. You can look in the feed here, and for the Paralegal Break-In group who's watching this, and the Paralegal Coffee Talk group, you can scroll down or look in the feed and you'll see an interview class. I highly recommend you take that, okay? Also, and I will give you the many more questions to ask, okay, in the interview. So be aware of that. Also, for my YouTube channel, who are watching, just look in the description box and you will see links to go to where my classes are, okay? So be sure you do that and go check out the interview class once you get over there. So that is it. Understand that the interview has to be a 180. It means they're there to interview you, but you've got to find out, number one, if they're a fit for you, even if this is your first job and a first opportunity. Don't be so desperate that you end up shooting yourself in the foot and you end up in the wrong law firm with the wrong attorney. You ask questions and it will pay off. You won't know 100%, but you'll get pretty close. You'll get to 90-95% in knowing if this is a fit for you. Okay? All right, have a great day. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions whatsoever, any comments. I love hearing from you, love hearing your thoughts and your feedback. And I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.